to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everybody, you are listening to episode 27, Lessons from My Career. That's right, guys. I am back for another awesome, fierce, and inspiring episode of Career Uprising. How are you guys doing? If you found me today, it is not by accident. No way. There is no such thing. You found me today on purpose. So I'm so glad that you are listening wherever you are at. And I just believe that if you are here now on this planet, in this body, listening to this show, it is by design. It is not by chance. That's how life works, right? So you found me somehow. Everything is by choice, I believe, not by chance. You are here by design, not by default. And most importantly, you are here as a result of your intentional thought and your consciousness. And so that's my thought for the day. There you go, guys, right? Let that one marinate for a couple of minutes. So it's good to be here and be back. I know I wasn't able to have a new episode last week, and I'm so glad to have new material for you guys, some new lessons, some new inspiration. We've got a brand new topic today, and we will for next week as well. So thank you for finding me and welcome. So I have to update you guys on something and say thank you. I'm so excited because last month, and at the time of this taping, that would be September of 2018, last month was my highest month yet in downloads for the show. Woohoo! I'm so excited. The show is growing thanks to you guys. We grew by a good 47%, something like that, over the month of August. It was awesome. So I have to thank you guys, the listeners. Obviously, you guys are loving what you're hearing, and I'm loving doing this. And I have a new format that I unveiled a couple weeks ago, a little bit shorter snippets and shows. And I'm wondering if maybe that made a difference. I don't know what it is. I would love your feedback, though, as a listener of this show. So thank you guys so much for making last month the biggest month ever with my most downloads so far. We are in growth mode here, and I love it. So if you ever want to give me any feedback on the show, you can do that. You can email me at Lorraine@careeruprising.com. And if you really want to pay it forward, if you're feeling super generous, you can maybe earn some good karma and leave me a review on iTunes. I would love it and appreciate it, since a lot of you out there clearly are listening. So thank you guys so much for that. So here's what I want to do today. Rather than coming at you with a specific, job search or career related topic, I really want to just kind of talk to you guys very openly and very honestly and share with you what I've learned in my career. So that's what I titled it today, Lessons from My Career. I thought that would be a good show to do is, what have I learned so far? Hopefully I've learned something, right? So that's what we're going to do today. It allowed me to kind of think about what that is and brainstorm that, since I don't know if I've ever really sat down and done that and thought, what have I learned so far and everything that I've done. So I'm hoping that that you'll be able to extract something powerful and something meaningful from that you can apply, of course, to your own career, or at least that's going to be my invitation to you to do that. All right. And, truth be told, in sitting down to prepare my notes for this show, I really had no idea yet what the lessons were going to be from my career. I didn't know what I was going to share with you guys yet. So I really hadn't thought that far. But I knew I had lessons. I was sure I had. So what I thought I'd do is just let it kind of flow out, and not have it predetermined and just let it be what it is and kind of discover what those lessons were going to be as I was preparing for the show. So that's what I did. I kind of just let it all flow through me. And so it's my sincere hope that something that you hear today will hit you right where you need it and in a way that is meaningful for you. So before we get started, of course, I do want to invite you to take the next step with me and go beyond this podcast if you ever feel so inclined to. If you are stuck or unclear or unmotivated, unemployed, underemployed, whatever it may be, or in any way just not as joyful as you used to be in your career, then I would encourage you to reach out to me. That's what I do. I help solve those problems and ease that pain, and I partner with you really to solve your career problem. So if that sounds promising or relevant to you, there's a lot of ways you can get in touch with me. You can drop me a note on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can email me, Lorraine@careeruprising.com. You can find me somehow. I would love to help you and hear from you. You can also just go to my website, worksmartcounseling.com, and you can sign up for a call with me there. All right? Cool. But if not, I hope that you get something at least from today and from what I'm going to share. Okay. So let's get started. What have I learned so far in my career? Well, let's start with this. Let me start with telling you what I've done, where I've been in my career, because I'm only 34, so I really only consider myself, I don't know what I consider myself, early career, mid-career. I feel like I'm mid-career. I feel like I've lived kind of a lifetime already, and I'm really only gearing up here. But thus far, I've worked retail, I've worked food service, I've worked in the corporate environment, I've worked at companies with 60,000 employees, I've worked at companies with 19 employees, and I've worked for myself, company of one. And I've now been able to grow that company to have a couple little part-time employees in there, which I'm very proud of as well. So shout out to my team members as well. But, I've been through so much in a short period of time. I've been hired, trained, disciplined, motivated, coached, laid off, dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of people with all of those different things. And I've been a hiring manager. I've been a job seeker, God knows, so many times over and over again. I've been praised. I've been envied. I've been criticized and everything in between. I know it all, guys. I don't know it all. Okay, I'll say this. I know a lot. I don't know it all, but I know a lot. All right. And I know that it's been a beautiful ride. And it's been crazy sometimes. And really, I think the craziest part is that I'm just warming up. The more I do, the more I realize that I can do and that I still have left to do. So much left to conquer. I don't know what I'm going to be doing necessarily in 5 years. I think it's going to be this, but I'm so open that I possibly could reinvent myself yet again. And I want to extend that invitation to you to keep that open as well. That's really where the best things happen. But yeah, there's things I don't even know yet, I'm sure, and things for you that you can't even picture yet that could happen in your career. So what I've done to kind of organize my thoughts here is I created kind of a little countdown list. I guess everyone loves a good countdown list, right? So here are, in all of their glory, my top 5 lessons that I believe I've learned so far in my career, and they are my gift to you today. All right. And they might not be what you think, but that's okay. This is what kind of flowed out of me when I asked the universe, what have I learned? So number 1, you don't always know what's best for you, but your greater self does. All right. So our perspective of ourselves, I know this, is so limited, and we don't always know what's good for us. This has been true for me time and time again in my career. That's why I always talk about leaving things so open to what other possibilities might come, because if we just make a plan and then follow through with it, sometimes we don't leave ourselves open to changing and realizing there could be something better. So, but the good news is there is another version of you, your higher self, your greater self, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter, that knows you inside and out. Your every thought, your every wish, every desire before you even know it in your kind of earthly brain. All right. Let me give you an example of this. So I recently manifested an awesome new side gig for myself. Okay. So I have another consulting basically job that I'm doing part-time along with all of my coaching and everything that I'm doing through Work Smart Career Counseling. And I'm really excited about this. It's at the time of this taping of the show, it's only been about a month, so it's still new, but I'm loving it. And I work from home with it, which is a big thing for me that I do want to keep doing. I make my own schedule and it complements my coaching perfectly. It's really, really just the right thing for me right now. It's a good fit, like a glove, you know? And so like I said, I started this just a couple of weeks ago and I'm really happy. And I'm already happy, you guys. You know, I'm pretty damn happy about 99% of the time. But now it's like 100%, right? So I've just manifested this amazing new opportunity that I'm really digging, and it's really supporting me from a professional standpoint, financially, just a lot of ways. It's a good thing. And the funny thing about it is there's a couple of aspects to it that I have always said I don't want. There's a couple of things about this job that I have always said in the past that I want to avoid, that I don't like. And so I would have limited myself if I had really followed through on that, right? I probably wouldn't have touched a job like this with a 10-foot pole because I said, oh, I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that. But I really left it open when I told source or the universe that I was really looking for something new to come in and complement my coaching and kind of take things to the next level. And it brought me that. It didn't look like what I would normally go for, but I love it. And it's amazing. And it's humbling too, because I realize how little I actually know about what I want in my life and my career. And that's okay. All right. Because the universe knows. You just have to kind of surrender a little bit and let things flow and don't judge things necessarily by the surface. Keep yourself a little bit open. So that's my first lesson to you. Okay. You don't always know what's best for you, but somebody else out there does. So you just have to trust. Okay. Number 2, you are capable of more than you could ever possibly conceive. I know I have learned this. Absolutely. The older I get, the more I realize that I have spent my entire lifetime so far underestimating myself. I'm doing so many things right now that I said I never would be able to do or wanted to do. And starting a business is one of them. I actively resisted that for years before I finally gave in and made it happen. Another thing that maybe is surprising, and I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show or not, I used to have a terrible fear of speaking in front of people. Anybody else out there ever had that fear of public speaking? Oh my gosh. When I was in high school and college, it was terrible. My heart would pound. I would just feel like this tenseness in my body. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It was like the feeling of fear is crazy. And look at me now. Me, a podcast host and coach and webinar host and everything. I pretty much speak for a living now. And I used to be so afraid of it. And a feeling of dread would come over me, and I'm not exaggerating. It is amazing how I have overcome that, and actually not only overcome it, I now make a living out of doing that very thing that I was so afraid of. And this is crazy to me when I think about it. You are capable of more than you ever could possibly conceive. And it's now, I've been on this kind of kick now for the last couple of years where I am intentionally pursuing things that scare me and things that if I have said in the past that I don't want to do it or won't do it, that's exactly what I go do now. And that is so awesome. There's so much freedom in that. And I would really, really encourage you to do that as well. So number 3, balance being proactive with being flexible. All right. So what I mean by this is I always advocate for clients to be proactive in their career. Planning is a good thing. I wouldn't discourage you from planning. I've always advocated that. Planning, setting goals, looking out for yourself basically, and thinking kind of one job ahead if possible. I always believe in preparing for a job search or anything before you really need to do it. Okay. Keep one eye open. You're nobody's fool, right? But here's the thing. I also believe in letting go and throwing away those plans when life requires you to. So there's a balance to be found there. All right. When growth requires you to, you have to sometimes let go of those plans. Maybe you don't need them anymore. Maybe you need to set new goals, higher goals, or just go in a different direction. So feel free, please feel free, make plans, set goals, but balance that out by being ready to toss them to the wind at a moment's notice and go entirely different direction. And maybe it seems like those two things can't really coexist, but trust me, they can. Embrace the paradox. They can coexist. And I always do that. For example, I just told you I'm completely open to the fact that maybe 5 years from now, I'll be doing something completely different than this coaching. That doesn't keep me from being here present in the moment and doing it now. I'm still going full force and doing this and making plans around it. But in the back of my mind, I always know, you know what? If life tells me I need to go do something else, I will. I will say yes. And it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're 45, 55, 65, it's never too late to change your mind and reinvent yourself. Or too early, maybe. Maybe you're younger than that. I don't know who's listening, right? Maybe you're 25. It's never too early or too late to change your mind. You always have that freedom and that choice. So I want you to strike a balance and be firm, but yet be moldable too. When you make plans in your career, see those plans as possibilities, options, not definite, but just those are possibilities. And some are more likely than others, right? I did another episode not too long ago. I don't remember what number, but it was called Why Your Backup Plan is Holding You Back. You might like that one. If you want more help or more support around this idea of making plans, but not having them as a crutch, or, kind of how to strike that balance between letting go and pushing forward with plans. Why Your Backup Plan is Holding You Back might be a good one. So go dig that one out of the archives if you want on Inflow Radio. But number 4, we still have a little bit more to go here. Number 4, emotional intelligence is far more valuable than intellectual intelligence. What does she mean by that? What does that mean? So this is definitely something that the more I'm just alive, the more I work with clients and coach them, and I'm still involved in some recruiting and the hiring process as well. The more I stay involved in all of that, the more I realize that those who are most successful in life are not the quote smartest people. They're the ones who have emotional intelligence. So those are those soft, intangible skills, right? Your ability to communicate, form relationships, use discretion, take risks, all those types of things. Perseverance, being able to push through and not quit. Those things speak to your emotional intelligence. And this is so valuable to employers. All right. So when we hire, we're looking for skill, but we're hiring for the will. Look for skill, but hire for will. Employers really want someone who is competent, intelligent, fits in with the company culture, and many of them will take that over somebody who has the actual experience. You can have all the experience in the world, but if they don't like you and can't work with you, and you're not emotionally mature and competent and adaptable, well, then it's not going to matter. And maybe it seems obvious, but this isn't obvious to a lot of people. But let me give you an example here. So my husband's company actually is hiring right now, and they hire for software developers, which is what he does. And so he's involved in the hiring process right now. And he said something interesting to me recently. He said that they would be more than happy to hire a junior level developer with less experience but who was highly trainable, coachable, and open and eager to learning new technologies. They're actually valuing that over someone's level of experience. And that right there is a perfect summation of emotional intelligence and why it's more important. This is what CEOs need to be successful. This is what everyone needs to be successful. And so these are soft skills rather than hard skills. So this is a little bit more of a practical tip, but I want you to take this one in as well. If you're in the job search and you're interviewing, know that employers are absolutely evaluating you on your emotional intelligence. So now you know what that is. There you go. Let you in on a little hiring secret there, kind of. Okay. And then number 5, I love this one. I do. And maybe it'll be a little bit cheesy. I don't know, but this is my final lesson. And this is something I know I have said on the show before, and it is so true. So I'm going to say it again. Your greatest crisis is always your greatest opportunity. Always, no exceptions, every time. That's what crisis is for. That's what problems, disappointments, setbacks, that's why they are there in your life. Because they are there to help you grow, teach you something, and make you stronger. And they will, if you let them. So a great example of this one in my career, I won't go through the whole story all over again, but if you want to know one of my greatest crises from my career, you can listen to episode 9. It's called Moving On After Being Fired, and you will hear the epic story of the time that I got fired, totally dumped, and from a job, and it was so beautiful, really. It was, and perfect and right. And it formed a lot of who I am today in a great way. It was everything that I needed at the time. And truly, it was the impetus for me starting my business and ultimately being here with you today. So I'm thankful for it. Life did for me what I wasn't brave enough to do myself. And I look back at that situation now, which was stressful at the time, but I see the perfection in it. Oh my goodness, there's so much perfection in it. So whatever you're going through right now, whether you're unemployed and having a hard time finding work, or you're just in a terrible job that you don't like, there is beauty and perfection in this. Trust me. And this too shall pass, and you will be better for it. I know, because I've lived through it and come out alive on the other side. But I honor that job and all of the people involved for who they were and the role that they played, and I'm eternally grateful for it. Well, there you have it, guys. 5 things that I've learned in my career. I know I talked all about myself today. I don't usually do that, but I hope that helps you and serves you. I hope you were kind of on the same wavelength as me for some of those lessons there. I enjoyed sharing them with you. And now your task is to receive them and decide what they mean to you and what you're going to go do about them. And if you like what you heard, or if any of this resonates with you, consider working with me to take your career to the next level. And also consider letting me coach you on air. I would love to do that. I'm always looking for a few good men and women who want to ask me questions that I can answer on air, or actually come on the show and work through the problem on the air with me. That would be exciting. So let me know if that's something that appeals to you. Whatever you need, I've got your back, guys. Okay? So that's it for episode 27 already. I will be back next week. We'll have another new topic. But go out there, guys. Be brave. And I will talk to you next time. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show is brought to you by InflowRadio.com. The best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.